This is Dow Houston, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. My videos address how to change your circumstances in life, whether they be financial, personal, social, or just life in general. I know there are hundreds, if not thousands, of similar sites. With that said, for better or worse, I just see the world differently than others, and I can tell you without any hesitancy that you will find thoughts, strategies, and ideas here you won't find anywhere else. It is my sincere hope you will find the content interesting and enjoyable. Thank you. Hey guys, Dow here. Hey, what I want to talk about today is redefining success and failure. It's going to be redefining, reframing, rethinking. So here's what it is. And I'm not saying there aren't people who look at life this way, but the majority of people I know, and I don't use that majority lightly, but the majority of people I know define success as, let's say you're going to play baseball. Define success as that you've become a good ball player. You've become a good ball player. Or they're talking about being a public speaker, or just giving a speech, as that you did a good job giving that speech. My dad was a carpenter. His view, and he did a lot of cabinet making and fine stuff, that success in that meant that you put a project together, a cabinet together, for instance, that it's true and square, that it's got no Mars on it. You can't see the nail holes, the screw holes, the finish is good. The problem with that view of success, or let's talk about failure just for a moment, that failure in cabinet making is, I can see the nail hole, the finish is not perfect, or it's in baseball. My son likes to play baseball. In baseball, it's not playing good, not being a good player. It fails to recognize, it is focused on the end result. It's focused on the end result. The end result being, are you good at it or not? And see, the problem that I have with that is a lot of people say, well, I can't be a success at that, or I'm not a success with that, so I'm not going to try. To me, one has to redefine what success and failure is. So, focusing on baseball, for instance. Focusing on redefining it means, listen, I tried. I gave it my heart. I practiced every day. By doing and focusing on those things and defining that as the success, you've got something to measure yourself by. Because honestly, you may practice and you may try and you may give it your all and still never be very good. And to do so, and let's say you're not very good at it, and you never are. You say, I'm a failure at baseball. No, you have been a success. You've tried, you've practiced, you had tenacity. Those, to me, are the more admirable trait than whether you are good at it or not. Or public speaking. I get invited to give a speech at a conference, and I'm scared to death. Or I'm a student at a university, and I have to give a speech, and I'm scared to death. I'm petrified. The measure of whether you're a success or not shouldn't be on the quality of speech I gave, but rather the fact that you conquered your fear, you put it aside and you did it, irregardless of whether I was good at it, whether I was stammered or stuttered or looked down. That can all be refined in the future. But the fact is, you tried it, you did it, you put your fears aside and you did it. If you define success as I did a good job or I didn't do a good job, if your speech wasn't what you wanted it to be, you may say I was a failure and never do it again. And hence, your growth has stopped. It makes no sense. Now I'm learning, and have been for a couple of years, learning to play polo. And I basically grew up on a horse. And it has taken a lot of checking my ego at the door and saying, you know, it isn't about my horsemanship. It is about me trying. It is about me learning something new. It has required me to check my pride at the door, because it is very hurtful on your pride, honestly. And I haven't taken that many lessons, but to look on YouTube or some other channel and see young people playing polo who I know, listen, I've not been around horses so much longer, and here these young people are just hitting this polo ball around like there's no tomorrow, and I'm struggling with it. So it required part of success is I put my pride aside. I put my ego aside. Lots of people say, man, I won't try that because I know I will fail, and then my ego will not accept it. Well, you know what? That's what is required. If we are bound by these freakish and frankly dysfunctional measures of success and or failure, it prohibits us from learning, from growing, from pursuing our goal. And the object of life should be to learn to grow, to learn to progress, to learn to challenge ourselves, to learn to do things that are uncomfortable. Otherwise, we don't have growth. And granted, I'll use my dad here as an example. I hadn't planned to, and I sometimes feel like I talk a lot about my dad, and to do so kind of makes me feel disrespectful. But anyway, my dad wouldn't try new things because he couldn't be a success with it. And he was, again, kind of a cabinet maker, kind of a perfectionist carpenter. So he focused on those things of being a perfectionist and wouldn't go outside his comfort zone. Well, he could define himself. I'm successful. But he never grew. He never challenged himself. It was the same thing day after day after day. And we can't live our lives that way. The ultimate goal is to say we grew, we pushed ourselves, we became something we didn't know we were capable of. Not whether we were ultimately successful at a particular venture. So it is so important to really not just redefine it in the short run, to say by redefining it in the short run keeps you going, saying, listen, I was a success at speaking because I did it. Granted, I wasn't very good, but I spoke. And hence I can improve on that, as opposed to just saying, I can't be a success at that, or I wasn't a success in it, and so I stopped. I will tell you, on my YouTube channel that I'm doing right now, originally I wasn't I had no capability to edit at all, okay? So I looked for people to help me edit it, and I couldn't find anyone, or I'd find someone and they'd help me for a few weeks and then they were gone, or they were irresponsible, or I'd get a bill that was outrageous. So I learned myself, and I admit, I'm not very good. Nobody's going to hire me to edit their videos. But I'm working at it and I'm trying. And the big thing is, by doing that, I am getting my content out. Yes, maybe it's not perfect. And maybe the editing is in fact very poor. I don't know. You can be judge of that. But the fact of the matter is, I am doing it and continually trying to improve myself on it. So, redefine what success and failure is. It helps you in the short run. It helps you in the long run. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you later.